This is a breaking news alert. The MeidasTouch network can now officially make the call. A massive upset just took place in a special election in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. In their State House District 12 special election, the Democratic candidate Brandon Dukes will go on to win this race against the MAGA Republican candidate Scott Timko. This was a plus 18 Trump district that just swung 19 points in favor of the Democratic candidate, Brandon Dukes, who will go on to win this special election. Moments ago, Governor Shapiro of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania made the announcement. Here's what he posted. Brandon Dukes just flipped a state house district in Butler County, a seat Trump carried by 18 points, and the GOP state rep won by 30 points in 2024. Pennsylvanians are rising up and using their power to combat the chaos, cruelty, and corruption, and we're not slowing down. I was proud to back Brandon. Congratulations, State Representative-elect Dukes. I look forward to getting stuff done together. From the Get Stuff Done governor. Now, Brandon Dukes was a lone administrator. He ran on a platform in State House District 12 of raising the minimum wage, of improving infrastructure, of focusing on Pennsylvania schools, and breaking the Harrisburg gridlock. He was focusing on the issue that matter to the people of Pennsylvania, and that is what resonated. He got a number of high-profile endorsements as well, an endorsement from Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Pete, Infrastructure Pete, Transportation Secretary Pete. He got an endorsement, of course, from the Democratic congressman from the area, Chris Deluzio, who you've seen here on the MeidasTouch network, of course, from Governor Shapiro. This was a really well-run campaign. And if you're Donald Trump, if you're MAGA, and you're seeing a plus 18 Trump district and a district where the state house rep previously won by plus 30, flip in favor of the Democratic candidate, this, folks, is a sign of the blue tsunami that is coming. Let me show you Brandon Dukes' campaign ad with statements like this that really resonated with the people in that State House District 12 in Butler. Here, play this clip.
This district has been represented by the same leadership in Harrisburg. Skyrocketing prices, outdated infrastructure, and schools that require serious attention. Hi, I'm Brandon Dukes, and I'm running for state representative for District 12. I'm a husband, a father, and a resident who wants what's best for our community. It's a district that's home to many working families like yours and mine, and could be the home of a better way of living. Gas prices, grocery bills, and prescription drug costs are through the roof. Our roads, they were built for a different era. And while out-of-state developers keep building and profiting, the infrastructure holding this community together is struggling to keep up. The traffic, it's getting worse. And overcrowding is starting to rear its ugly head. See what I mean? Our schools need more attention, and to not have their funds diverted to non-public schools unknowingly. Your tax dollars belong here, because every kid in this district deserves a great public school, regardless of which zip code they were born into. Our home is ready for something different, and this district has been waiting for someone worth voting for. Well, here I am, because 30 years of waiting is long enough. Let's give change a chance, start believing in better. I'm Brandon Dukes, and I'm running for PA House District 12, and I'm asking for your vote.
Now, I'll share this with you as well. Before the special election, Brandon Dukes was given interviews like this, and he was unapologetic about his fight for the people of Pennsylvania, that he would put getting stuff done above the culture wars, above the drama. His focus was getting stuff done, just like the very popular governor of the Commonwealth, Governor Shapiro. Play this clip.
What's different, would you say, now as you're knocking doors?
I think now it's just, again, it starts from the top. I think what people are seeing in the White House, so to speak, on the federal level, they feel like the change starts locally. And I started that last year with my race, and then I'm going to do it again this year for state rep. And what I'm offering voters is something different, something new, something better. My tagline is believe in better, because it's something that we have to do. We've had, Republican rule for the last 30 years in Harrisburg representing us in this district. And now that it's a special election / open seat, I think voters see this as a chance that they see an actual serious Democrat on the ballot. So somebody who ran previously came so close to knocking off a two-term incumbent in a very populated area. So I think people see that, they recognize that, and they see everything that's been going on nationally, but they feel like on the state level, something my opponent brings is definitely, he brings that MAGA firebrand still that's turning off, I think, a lot of Republicans, especially here in the district, who just want nothing to do with it. This district, I do want to say that Josh Shapiro won in 2022 when he ran for governor, which by a hair, but it's still a win. So it goes to show this district is ready for some normalcy, so to speak. And I feel like my opponent brings that, what we're seeing in the White House right now, more of that kind of rhetoric. So, also people are, again, like I said, the issue they were concerned about is that, public schools being defunded and even access to healthcare, something that my opponent would be against. He's supported in a questionnaire that he would support cuts to Medicare and Medicaid, which a nice portion of our population benefits from. Even my parents just got on Medicare right now. So it's something that it's very detrimental if they lose that and downright cruel. And also, including on the topic of healthcare, when it comes to women's reproductive rights, my opponent has been very vehemently against abortion, even in cases of rape and incest. So I don't think that plays very well to a base that has a lot of, young women living here. So those are some of the issues I think that turns people away from that and looking for something new and change. And I think it's something that I can offer, and I think I have been offering so far.
Now, what else was going on in Pennsylvania on Tuesday? Well, Governor Shapiro signed an incredible executive order blocking irresponsible AI data centers. He announced that this executive order implemented the strictest standards in the nation for AI data centers because he will not allow Pennsylvanians to be bullied by greedy developers and bulldozed by the lawyers working for these big tech companies. Effective immediately, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania is requiring AI data centers to commit to strict environmental and transparency requirements and receive approval from the local community if they want to build there. Now, the MeidasTouch network is in Pennsylvania right now. Scott McFarland was able to interview Governor Shapiro about this executive order. Let's play this clip.
I've spent a whole lot of time listening to the good people of Pennsylvania, listening to local officials who've been overrun by these predatory developers who have no regard for our communities. I thought it was important to put very, very clear rules of the road that protect our local communities, protect people's utility bills, protect their costs, and make sure that communities are reflective of what the neighbors want, not some outside developer who comes in. My executive order today, I think, is the most stringent requirements in the entire country, and it puts developers on notice. If you want to do business here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, if you want to build an AI data center, you better follow these stringent requirements. Otherwise, you should look somewhere else.
You described some of these companies coming into your state as predatory, bullying, and menacing. Why do you say that?
And secretive. And I stand by all those words. They show up, they buy a piece of land, they wreak havoc on a community, threatening them with the construction of a data center. Yet, Scott, all throughout, they don't actually have an end user. That's one of the tech companies. They have no access to power, but they create real worry and chaos and concern in a community. We're ending that practice now.
Now, while you are having this seismic result in the great Commonwealth in State House District 12, what has Donald Trump been focused on? Posting weird AI memes of himself holding Keystone Pipeline. Donald Trump saying an hour before he threatened to impose 50% tariffs on Canada that there's a deal. And then we heard moments ago from Prime Minister Carney saying, no, there isn't a deal, but we are making progress in our discussions. It's more of Donald Trump's fake deal behavior. And I just think people, whether it's in State House District 12 or across the country, are just sick and tired of Trump talking about fake deals, Donald Trump talking about meeting with Kim Jong-un. It's just very weird and deranged behavior, and the people have had enough of this behavior. Earlier today, Harry Enton over on CNN outlined just how unpopular Donald Trump is right now. And with these results coming in, again, in 2024, this was plus 18 Trump. And then in general, the Republican state house rep there for that district would win by like plus 30. So whether you calculate it based on the Trump swing, plus 19, or the Republican house rep to this Democratic state house rep, plus 31, a 31-point swing, massive results. Let's listen to what Harry Enton's talking about Donald Trump's historic unpopularity. Let's play this clip right here.
You know, if this were a game of limbo, President Trump would be winning. Unfortunately, this is the game of presidential popularity, and he is reaching record lows yet again. He is losing. Just take a look here. Okay, Trump net approval hits a term too low. Look at this. 31 points underwater, 31 points underwater according to Ipsos, the Reuters Ipsos poll. Look where he was at the beginning of term number 2. He was at plus 6 points. So he is down, what is that? The math quickly with me, 37 points from where he was at the beginning of his second presidency. You know, President Trump was unpopular going into the midterms during his first presidency, but not anywhere as unpopular as this. He was 12 points underwater. So he is doing versus where he was at term number 1 at this point. He is doing, what is the math here quickly? He is doing 19 points worse than he was doing in term number 1 at this point. And of course, those midterms were quite disastrous for the Republican Party. So you look at these numbers and you just go, oy vey if you're a Republican.
All right. Independents have a big role to play always in elections. Give us some sense of where they stand, because there is still a lot of the party that supports Donald Trump.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know what? Republicans still in large part support Donald Trump, but as independents who are the name of the game, they are the driver in elections. And just look at why these numbers are falling the way that they are. It is because of independents. Look at these drops. I mean, Trump's net approval rating among independents, term 2, he's 47 points underwater now. 47 points underwater. He was at minus 1 point at the beginning of his presidency, basically treading water, right? So what is that? That's a 46-point drop. So you see that drop of what, 31 points from where he was at the beginning of his presidency, or 37 points from where he was at the beginning of his presidency among the overall electorate. But that's nothing compared to this 46-point drop among independents. And compare that to where he was at this point in term number 1 before those midterms. Again, he was underwater then, but he was just 10 points underwater then. Now he's 47 points underwater. So that's a drop of what? 37 points. So this has been the problem with President Trump's second term, according to the public, which is he is going and placating the base, but leaving the center of the electorate behind. But you know what? You have to win the center of the electorate in order to maintain your popularity, in order for Republicans to win in these midterm elections. But independents are saying, you know what? We don't like what's going on. See you later.
Now, folks, what have I been saying on the MeidasTouch Network? In these special elections, we've seen other massive shifts in Pennsylvania. We've been covering there. We've been covering a lot of special elections in Iowa. We've been covering special elections across the country. What is it that we see? We see Democrats outperforming these Republicans by anywhere between 15 to 20 points, even above what the polling data is. Now, this state House District number 12 became a vacant seat after the Republican state representative Stephanie Cialaba resigned March 31st, 2026, saying that she wanted to spend more time focusing on her family, and it left this state house seat in Butler, Pennsylvania open. And Brandon Dukes just went on to win big. A big victory, folks. Donald Trump and MAGA, this should terrify them heading into the midterms. There you have it, folks. Let's hit subscribe. Check out the book I wrote with my brothers, WTF America. Pre-order it now. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you.
Hey, if you want the full story, how democracy got here and how we take it back, pre-order our new book, WTF America, today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.